Hey, I want to talk to you today about judgment. My name is Alexis. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach, and I'm a human design coach. And today I was reading a human design article about incarnating imprints. And I've been getting this message for a while now about judgment in my dreams and visions. And in this article, this particular area of this article, it talks about the current transits that are going on, planetary transits, and how when we're born in those current planetary transits, those are fixed imprints that are put on us when we're born to come into this life, but how they help us throughout our periodic life, whatever current transits are going in that might affect your undefined centers or gates that aren't activated, or channels that aren't fully connected. So they were talking about how just by when a person is born into these current transits, that is human evolution in itself. That is us fulfilling the dreams of our ancestors and descendants that they have for the next generations. But what I find interesting, sorry, it's really dark in here. What I find interesting about all of that is that our generations judge each other. They do. You know, when I'm going to take myself for an example because I'm an 80s kid. So our generation, our parents, grandparents, so our grandparents and great-grandparents judged our generation of 80s children and all the things that were coming up new in that generation. And as I've grown, now as an adult, our parents are judging our children's generation. And I'm going to use autism as an example because it's something that's near and dear to my heart, having a child that's on the spectrum. And that generation, and even our generation, doesn't understand the sensitivities that autism children bring and how we need to accommodate to and understand what those sensitivities are. And it's really helping us to embrace our own sensitivities that we didn't get to embrace in our generation and their generation. And then you have children now that are being born, and we'll use the age group of birth up to, 12 years old, that are really embracing their spiritualness, and because our generation, my generation, is really opening up to what spirituality is and embracing that inner self and connection that you have to God, to source, whatever you want to call it. We're able to help move our children, the younger children, into embracing that. And so it's helping them to trust themselves more and experience things that our generation or older generations might have been shamed with, when we were younger, because it was not something they understood. And so the biggest message to me about judgment, and we do this every day when we pass judgment on other people. Say, for example, you know someone who's had a child that's passed or years ago, or has lost someone, and they still mourn and have sorrow about that loss for years later. And so we may pass judgment and not understanding that, why are they still in this state, and that in itself is something that, because you didn't experience it, you don't know what it's like. And this is anything. This is a person who's an addict. If you're an addict, or if someone in your family is an addict and you love them, and as many times as they've relapsed and as many times as they've lied and cheated and stolen, you still have love for them. But someone coming into your family or someone from the outside of that family is going to look at that and pass judgment and not understand it because they've never experienced it. And so it's a message so clear, I think, lately, especially in what I'm seeing and observing in the world about judgment and how much we pass judgment on each other for things that we don't understand or we don't resonate with. Even in the spiritual community, on TikTok itself, you hear all these younger people giving messages, putting their own perception of information that they're receiving about spirituality out there. And then you have a group of spiritual people who see themselves as above that, or more a higher frequency or a higher, vibration as those people. And so they pass judgment on them and say that the information that they're putting out there is false. And this message has come to me for a long time about you not knowing where a person is when they're giving that message. And that message, even now, me giving this message to you as I grow and as I gain more knowledge, more understanding, enlightenment, this message will go deeper in the future, and I'll see it deeper than I do now. So it just goes back to the very basis of this message is don't pass judgment on others just because you don't understand or don't resonate with what they're saying or what they're experiencing or what they've gone through. The important thing is to have compassion for others, an open space for people to be able to express themselves freely and be open to feeling non-judged, so that if they do need to understand something a little bit more, there's a safe place for them to go to, a safe guidance of others who may have a little more knowledge than us, a safe place for them to be able to sit in that space with them and gain the wisdom and get guidance from them. Anyway, maybe this makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. And if it doesn't, it's okay. It's just where I'm at, and it's the thoughts that I was having today that I've been having for a while, and that article just really helped me understand a little bit more about what all is being done and happening in the world, and in the human design aspect of it all is that every person who's born in the current transits that are there in that moment is our next evolution, our next human evolution, our next generation. So, love you guys. Have a great one.